I'm Julie Mans, and this is the Unfinished Business Report for Friday, November 11th. I had two trade ideas yesterday for today in NSC and BID, and both of those ideas played out well today. In addition, there was UHS that had been on from the day before. Here is NSC. I just wanted to show you that, yes, off the bottom chart here is your 5-minute, and it was gapped up, but it did pause just a little bit before shooting higher, so there was some opportunity to get in earlier in the day. It did pull back and is in the middle of its trading range right now at time of recording. This is something that we can look at again tomorrow, but do you see this white line? The reason that white line is there is as I was doing my analysis, if you go back, you can see that early in 2016 didn't quite reach that level, but in mid 2015 that was an inflection point. So I'm not sure it has room to push higher, so if it can make it up and go again, and if the day is a strong day tomorrow, I might keep NSC on my cheat sheet for trade ideas. So the other one I had from last night was BID. Again, here is the daily. I'm going to explain that white line in a minute, but you can see here on the bottom chart, the 5-minute chart, it was gapped up and just moved higher all morning. So there was opportunity in BID also to the long side, as we expected there might be if the day was strong and the morning was strong. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that sometimes the day isn't always completely strong or completely weak. This white line on the daily chart shows you how it is now stopping here toward end of the session, the trading session, at the bottom of its range for the day, and that area happens to be the support level from earlier this summer, and it was also resistance a year ago in October, November. This is now starting to look more like an infield fly and might go the direction that we usually expect these double headers to go, which would be to the downside. Okay, now let's look and see if we have any ideas for tomorrow from the trading plan that Adrian put out yesterday for today. There were 5 stocks, 3 to the long, 2 to the short. All of them went. And when this happens, it makes my job a lot harder because I'm now looking for continuation. And I'll tell you why it's harder as we go through each one of these. The first one, AOS, this was a long for today. You can see the 2 white lines here on the 5-minute chart are the actual entry and profit targets from Adrian's plan last night. Other than that, it fell mostly within that range most of the day, though it did pull back down to the entry price and go back for a second trip to the well, which is always nice if you're able to be here all day and trade. You always want to look at those. We take second entry on the planned trades. Okay, so that's great, and I can see on the daily chart up here that we are at support resistance. So if this has a stronger day, there is more room to the upside, but I think this is a somewhat familiar pattern of more like a head and shoulders, and I'm going to keep AOS in the column on my cheat sheet that could go either long or short depending on market conditions of the day. The rest are a little less predictable for tomorrow's action. They were great for today. HOG was also a long, Harley Davidson, and you could look at the 5-minute chart. It absolutely hit our planned entry and target levels, and though it did dip back later in the day, as you can see on the daily chart, it is not giving me any kind of indication that I would want to take it long tomorrow if it closes in the bottom of this range. In fact, if anything, I might want to take it short. The other long he had was in DECK, and this was in the stocks to watch section of our plan. You can see again it gapped a little bit higher, but still within the entry range and did go up to the profit target. So DECK was great for today. If I look on a daily, all I can see is that it's hitting resistance that was support, very recent support. So I'm not going to put that on a list today. And the 2 shorts, one was AMT. Again, you can see on the 5-minute, did a nice job to the downside and has sort of stayed in the middle of the range. But I am not finding that that is any sort of comfort, because if you look on the daily chart, it bounced off what has been just in April and May, support levels. So it went down, hit those support levels from earlier in the year, and popped back up. So I'm not going to keep that as a short. Finally, it's sort of a similar story for O. Almost identical problem, except this time it bounced off of what used to be resistance and now might become support. So I just went through that because I wanted to show you that if you have a day where the trades you made the night before are all triggered successfully, looking for unfinished business really just becomes about looking for opportunities for continuation. So I hope everyone had a great trading day, and you have a great trading day tomorrow, and I hope you have a good evening.